was involved in, I want to say she said some human trafficking, but far more than that as well. So man, there ain't no way that was fireworks. That somebody did that intentionally.
So yeah, but okay. So you know what really frustrated me about that is when I went on my thread, when I went to Google and when I went to YouTube, none of that showed up on my like front pages,
like news type stuff.
Yes, and the thing that frustrates me and now I'm putting two and two together because I'm learning, which everybody else probably knew before me, how Facebook and these social media sites, they're doing a form of redlining to where they only let you see certain information that they want you to see. And other information they just omit. I'm like, why in the world would I not see something like this? And they showing me
that's
what Lil Boosie saying. I'm like, I don't give a damn about what Lil Boosie saying and something like that happened. And
well,
it's like,
it also goes by your algorithms too. So it does pull shit that you do look at, but it's like, that's pretty significant major fucking news.
So yeah, and that's what I'm realizing. Also, they are they are selectively, so if you like a certain page, then they're going to they're purposely trying to drive you in different directions. And I'm like, I don't like that. Anything that deals with mind manipulation, I don't like it, and I have an issue with it. Am I up? You talk. It says you talk. Okay, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. So Tiara asked a question today. It was like a question of the day thing. And she posted something and it said, like, do we basically feel like technology, all of the technology that we have today, is helping or hurting? And there was obviously, quite a few conversations that went both directions. I just lost my whole train of thought. Oh my God, just that quick. Oh, you were talking about, just how the information is being picked and choose. And that's exactly a perfect example of the internet hurting us, because it creates only the things that it thinks you want to see, and it doesn't expose you to other stuff sometimes.
Ooh, okay. I got a tough question now. Hold on a second. I got a tough one. You ready for this? Where'd Denise go? Denise, you still there too?
Is she on? I'm trying to see if I can get my stupid
She probably just eating. Denise eating. She don't want nobody to see her eat.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get my video to work.
I'm doing the same thing. I got my food over here too. So right, Denise, did you hear what we were talking? Okay, you ready for my question, Nikki? I'm gonna ask both of y'all this.
Okay.
So, hey Tierra, how you doing?
Hey.
So because and you right on time, because we're actually talking about your question of the day. And so I'm sure everyone, when they talk about technology, I guess we can go into that in a second, as technology has its pluses and minuses. But then Nikki started to talk about how they are basically redlining social media, and they're disseminating information to different groups of people, how they want to see, how they want to get them to see things a certain type of way. So my question is, because of that knowledge, do we give white people or conservative white people or of the like, should they get some type of pass, since now we realize it's not just us, they're also being force-fed certain information, and they're being fed to believe things a certain type of way, and they're not really being allowed to see the other side from a full perspective. Does that change your mind with the way that you deal people that you assume are racist, narrow-minded white people?
Well, I don't. Shit, as the resident fucking white person on this board, I don't, and I don't think that anybody should. But I don't know to tell a person of color how they should or shouldn't deal with white people. But I know for me, I don't give nobody no breaks. It's 2020. I understand that that may be how people's information is harvested, but you got to really be a dumb motherfucker to think that it isn't what it is. I get that maybe there's a lot of people who are being exposed to it on the level they are now, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that it was like this. But no, I don't think that that gives people a free pass at all.
Brainwashing is real, though.
It is very
It's
real.
it's
I
it's
agree.
real.
I agree.
And if I mean just a conversation or just a live interview that I was watching, where Real Talk with Dr. Bright, and I think I posted it on this page as well. There was a gay pastor talking about his experience, and I'm not sure that 10 years ago I would have been able to process a lot of the things that he said, because like I said, brainwashing is real, and it's not an overnight process on either side. It takes a long time to get brainwashed, and it takes a long time to be unbrainwashed. But Tierra, I saw you shaking your head. No, they don't get a pass. What are you thinking?
People that live in their bubble want to stay in that bubble. They purposely stay in that bubble. Most people, they don't, like, say churches, for example. It's very segregated. If you went to like most churches, not a lot, there's some that's different, but if you go to most churches, it's black or it's white. It may be a little sprinkle here or there. That's because they're comfortable in their bubbles. They're comfortable in their space. They don't want to be challenged. So they look for information that confirms already what they feel. So I don't give nobody a pass because they don't want to, step outside their thinking. They like to remain into their thinking. They don't want to be challenged, because being challenged is basically saying that possibility that what they've been thinking and known for this thus far is problematic. And who wants to go through that? Have to reconcile that.
That's so insensitive. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just throwing an argument at you, Denise. Do they get a little pass? Do you look at things just a little bit differently based upon the way that you've seen that there is a forced separation and segregation of opinion and thought? Is there a little pass that you start to get?
I won't say that I'll give them a pass, but I will say that across the board, I do have more understanding. So I don't think it's okay. However, like, I was like, you know what? I have a friend that he should definitely come to Freethinkers, but he probably won't. But he made some interesting points, and I thought about it before, but it was like, okay, let me go read Fox News. Like, let me see what they're being fed. And when you read it, if you like, we have to understand that everybody in Free Thinkers, we are not like most people. Hence, we are in Free Thinkers. Most people do not know how to think for themselves. And it's a hard concept to understand when you're a person that challenges thought a lot. But there are a lot of people who do not think for themselves. And they will run off as soon as they see a headline. They won't even read the article. I mean, as soon as they say something, they'll just go with it. With no evidence, with no nothing, just as soon as they seen it posted one too many times, they start believing it's fact. I don't know if y'all remember this, but a couple of years back, it got to the point where everybody was saying the same exact thing, almost verbatim.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if y'all remember when that shit happened, but I remember being like, either y'all are plagiarizing or you don't even really understand that you're just spewing something out that you've seen a few times today. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're all like a victim to some of this to a certain degree, and that we should all be doing our research on everything that we see, whether it be somebody we think we can trust or no or not. Like Quentin has been saying lately, let's be human first. Because if we're human first, shout out to you for saying that, because that, like, boom, like did something in my head last week. Like, I think it was you who was mentioning something about not desensitizing ourselves to being okay with like bad things happening to other people, right, who who might be racist pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, we can't become that desensitized, like you said. But I think we should be more understanding. Should it get a pass? Nothing that's shitty should get a pass, but we should definitely become more understanding of why people are thinking on these levels. Because if we don't understand, if we don't try to be more understanding, we're gonna depend on them to do it.
Right.
Like, who's gonna be the level-headed person?
Yeah, you're right. On a side note to what you said, I said I was gonna try to do that. Try to just listen to Fox News, listen to other viewpoints. I said I was gonna try to do it completely for a week, and I started out. I tried to start. I tried to listen to a Candace Owens with Mark Lamont Hill. I like Mark Lamont Hill. I think he said some good things, but I could only take like 5 minutes at a time, and I couldn't even get through it. She irks me so bad to where I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. Anyway, that's besides the point. Ivory, can you hear us? Okay, Ivory.
Yeah.
So
I missed it though. What the original question was?
Part of it actually came from you when we were on the Zoom. And this is where part of my proposal of my question actually came from talking to my sister. We was on Zoom with my mom. My mom, she's trying to get up to speed technology wise. She was like, I got on Facebook and nobody's really on Facebook anymore. They're not even saying anything. I don't see anybody posting. So then my sister started talking about, well, that's because you have to like someone's post or any activity that you give to their post, then they will start feeding you information that way. So then it became a form of, depending on what your interests are, they try to feed you more of that, which what Denise was saying.
Yeah.
So then, Ivory, that's when I started looking at the bombing in Lebanon today. Did you see
all
that?
kind of stuff you ain't heard of? Yeah.
Right. So I looked on my front page of YouTube, Facebook, Google, all this. I didn't see anything. I'm like, how come I don't see any of this? And this is major world news, and I'm not seeing any of this. So then I started getting upset because I'm like, you guys are trying to lead me in a certain direction, and you don't want me to be well-rounded. So once I thought about that, then I got to the thought of, what about people on the other side? What about white conservatives who are only fed white conservative news, information, viewpoints, things like that? So then my question became, should we give them a little bit more of a pass, knowing what we know now, that they're also being brainwashed in a different direction? Do they get a little bit more of a pass in your sight?
Yes. When I say yes, I mean you get a pass until we're face to face and I'm telling you what it is and you keep lying or you keep saying the same dumb stuff over and over again. This goes back to the human thing you're saying, right? I'm a human in front of you. I'm telling you my own experience, my own knowledge from a credible source, you should think. Let's say we work together, we're acquaintances. And you still take that crap you hear on TV or on the news from random people and argue with me about my real life experience. You lose your pass. Now, outside of that, I would say growing up in a conservative household that listened to Fox News all day and all night. When I left my house to go to college, I was so ill-informed about the world and how it worked. And I would argue you to death about how the world worked, and my view was skewed because my parents watched Fox News all day. And so, yes, I definitely am for giving people pass because somebody needed to give me one. And I'll leave that there.
On side note, I didn't realize how racist the 700 Club was until like a couple years ago. I went back and looked at it. I'm like, this is the devil. This is some mess. All right, so okay, so that was just a question I had preliminaries. Nikki, are you there, Nikki? Because I'm not really trying to go into this next subject by myself. I want to let her take this. Nikki, can you hear me? Are you there, Nikki? All right, look, I'm gonna go to a different subject. It's certain subjects I ain't really gonna touch too much. I'll let Nikki jump on that when she get back. So, okay, I got another filler. Oh, let me go to the basis of the question. Tiara, let me come back to you real quick. How do you feel about technology? What overall is technology helping us or is it hurting us?
I mean, if you look at the grandstand of technology, it's definitely helping us. It's basically making our lives easier. But it also is taking away from the fact of we are losing social contact, critical thinking skills. Technology can be problematic. It's a tool for bullying and misinformation. So in the grandstand of technology is amazing. It's finding solution to problems that we didn't even know exist. But also it is definitely dangerous. It's weaponized. It's a tool to prey on people. It diminished critical thinking skills, and it continuously program people to think a certain way, as like we were talking about Fox News and things like this. So it's very much weaponized, and can be dumb. And when I say technology, I don't mean just social media, but I think of Google. And when I was a kid, we didn't have Google. We had English Encyclopedia Britannica.
Just love, I could read them all day.
Yeah.
And I used to love the color photos and stuff like that. That was like deep for us. And we didn't have something that helped us calculate, spell, map, none of that. No. And I think of my child today, like, you know, not knowing his sense of direction, always needing help with spelling. That stuff is like the stuff we don't really recognize. We look at, like I said, the grand scale of everything, but we forget the other things that are essential.
How you doing? Let me make sure I'm saying your name correctly. Is it Imran? How do I say your name right?
Yeah, it's Imran. You're
Imran. Right. Okay, got you. Okay, welcome to the show, sir. Let me ask. I'm gonna open this up for anybody, and this is just a quick question I got, and then we're gonna pivot, kind of go a different direction. I'll let you handle that, Nikki. Without social media, this question is for anybody. How do you think this pandemic would be different if social media did? Say the same pandemic happened, but this was 1990 instead of 2010. How would it be different in your eyes?
It would be way worse.
You know,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do believe this thing, you know, the pandemic situation right now, it's just a natural disaster. We need to take it as a natural. We need to take care of every single person. But you know, the people, they're taking this as a, you know, and like in my country, they're thinking that it's done because of Jews and this kind of stuff. So that's why this is happening here. So I'm not trying to understand that it's a natural disaster. I never think that it's a planning. I never ever think Jews and this kind of, I always think that this situation is a natural disaster, not someone plans. So it's, you know, everyone have a different mind. Everyone thinks different. Someone think positive, and someone thinks negative. So we need to take everything positive. So this is one of the best way we can do.
Okay, gotcha. I think you chopped up a little bit at the end, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Denise, you said it would be much worse. How do you think it would be much worse?
I think it'll be worse because this is one of the pros of technology. We're able to share information. There's misinformation that's out there, but we're allowed to share more things with each other. Like when the protests first started happening, like in Ferguson,